we didn't decide on a intro.
No, we did not.
We have nothing.
Well, this is the first one, so we're gonna like work our way into one. We have like after a few podcasts, I feel like we'll have like a set intro.
Do you want to say the name of the podcast? It is right there.
Nontendo Podcast.
We should have waited to start until it was red. We've started.
I thought about that.
We started at the white part.
Do you want to wait?
No, we've already.
Hey, Nontendo Podcast, guy. How you doing? I'm Bob. This is my great friend Wood over here. Wood, how you doing?
Great friend.
Sure.
I've been waiting to say this because we've set this up so we're looking at each other, and I'm like looking at. I don't usually look at people. Okay. You have a great smile.
Thank you so much.
And I've been waiting to say that until we started.
How you doing,
Your
guys?
teeth are so white.
I just whitened them.
Really?
I did.
I would do that, but apparently my enamel is shot to heck.
Oh yeah, it's tingly and stings.
The dentist told me, like, I went to the dentist recently. Kim can attest to this. I went to get a checkup and a clean, and after 5 minutes, he goes, "So I want to help you save your teeth."
That's the worst. I haven't been to the dentist in like many years.
Apparently, I grind. Well, Kim can also attest to this. I grind my teeth at night badly.
It's not good.
And
you need like a guard.
That's what he said.
And you just don't.
I don't want one.
You're a bad,
I can't imagine
you're
sleeping
a bad
with a
dentist
guard
patient.
in my mouth.
Just try it a few times.
Well, I have to go and get a mold done. But yeah, that and coffee has destroyed.
That's why I'm whitening my teeth, because I've been drinking a lot more coffee.
That's healthy.
What?
Just
glug. You're trying to tell me coffee's not healthy?
Glug all the coffee, destroy the teeth, but then whiten them and ruin the enamel.
Yeah, and you only whiten the fronts. The backs are gonna be all messed up. We're supposed to be getting into the topic of the podcast at the very beginning, as our managers explained that we need to do.
True, actually, that is true. The one thing we were told when we said to our managers we were starting a podcast was you need a clear goal, a clear definition of what the show is.
Right.
So starting with a 5-minute rant on teeth care is probably not the best idea.
Probably not, no. We both are Nintendo YouTubers. Right, mostly.
We do very similar things on the internet with Nintendo. Mm-hmm. I've been pushing for this for so long, and you have wanted nothing to do with it.
So we had a meeting with our management. Not a meeting. We were just hanging out, really. And,
we got dinner.
And you kind of accosted me. We have the same manager. Our manager was in the middle of us.
Yeah.
And you said, "That's why we need to start a podcast." And I reached over and I said, "We would freaking kill each other."
Yeah, you did.
And then our manager said, "Yeah, but you'd make a lot of money." And I was like,
"That's why."
And then Ryan, the owner of the whole company, went on like a 20-minute rant about how podcasts are like the new thing and they want to do podcasts. But
that's why
and they have like a whole team of people to do the podcast. And then you guys all tried to convince me that I would have to do nothing for it and I would just show up and just roll. And that ended up being only a little true.
That's mostly your own fault, to be fair.
I mean, look, man, you have a brand and I have a brand, and my brand is doing stuff like
over the top.
Yeah.
And
making things look nice and stuff.
This
and I
awesome set that we have, it's all him and E.
No, only me. I did everything.
Only him. No,
E did.
I would have been happy to do this over Zoom.
What is it? Oh, God. We're supposed to be talking about...
I was waiting for the pushback because he's wanted to do remote for this the whole time.
I'm trying to do as little work as possible.
I feel like when you said that, would you say I would kill you or you would kill me? I feel like it was you worried that you would get sick of me very quick if I was in your house.
Yesterday I said, "I'm going to kill you," and you took like offense to it.
Did I?
You got like offended. And then like I did something else and then I came back and you're like, "That'd be really bad if you wanted to kill me." And I was like, "What?" And you were like, "You said you wanted to kill me." I was like, "When did that happen?" Like, I moved on.
You tell me you hate me all the... No, is that you hate me?
I tell everybody that I hate them. That's like my go-to. When somebody tries to rib me with something, I go, "I hate you." And then I move on because it's like, you ribbed me, I'm ribbing you back.
I don't want to be hated. I want you to love me.
You're a content creator on the internet. It's just going to happen.
True.
It's going to be hate.
So we are both Nintendo YouTubers.
Yeah, that's true.
Am I rattling too much here?
10 minutes into the podcast, we'll finally get into what the title of the podcast is.
Should I take these off? Am I rattling?
You're good, dude.
Okay, I'll just go like this.
A ride, baby.
We're both Nintendo YouTubers. We have a podcast where we just talk about everything Nintendo. And this episode, we want to talk about why we quit Nintendo.
Yes. So
you first, why when you were working with Nintendo did you decide to quit?
Funny story. I've never ever worked with Nintendo.
Oh, that is
I've come
funny.
close. You definitely did. For like
I did.
A long time.
Kind of. I wasn't paid. It was love hours.
Listen, as creators, they just give you free stuff.
They tried to take my money.
How did that? Well, I mean, they take my money all the time.
When they wanted me to not only be an ambassador but sign up to the program to actually use their footage, and they would take a cut of my royalties.
So that was the thing back in the day. All of the other game companies decided that if we used their gameplay footage and stuff, that was free promotion for them. So they were like cool with it. But Nintendo was like, "That's our IP. We want a percentage of your ad revenue." If
did you
use our
ever
content.
even consider signing up to that?
So I don't really do gameplay stuff.
True.
So I only use trailers and I chop them up.
Same.
So I didn't
even consider it for a second when they brought that out.
No, not at all.
I looked at that and said, no, thank you.
And they since nixed that program, so it's not a big deal.
Yeah, no, I used to be a Nintendo ambassador, something that my viewers know very well. And a lot of, if you know that story already, you might be thinking, oh, great, we have to hear about this again. I want to skim it, but I think what I want to do, and I told you, is I actually have some horror stories of working with Nintendo. One in particular that I've never told just out of like respect for Nintendo.
Oh no!
But I mean, we're here now, may as well, right? Do you want to hear him?
Yes, of course.
Should we start?
No, I don't.
Should I
Just
skim
forget
over?
it.
Let me skim over the situation, right? Okay, so Nintendo had an ambassador program. They still do.
Yes.
I'm just not a part of it.
What is the ambassador program? Explain that.
I don't know. I was on it for a long time. I never really figured it out.
It's just Nintendo gives you games early in hopes that you will review it.
It's kind of like you kind of represent the brand, I guess. It is an official thing. Nintendo hires a company called Golan, who they reach out to influencers, creators, whatever, and they're like, "Hey, do you want to be an ambassador?" And it's like a mini official thing. You don't get like a certificate or anything. But you get to put it in your Twitter bio, and that's all that matters, really.
It's very invasive. I feel like compared to other companies, like Capcom has one, and they're like, "You can be a Capcom ambassador. You don't have to put us in the Twitter bio or anything. Just here's a game for
free." I think it's more that who would want to put that in their bio.
Like fighting game guys or something.
Ambassador for Nintendo and Capcom are two very different things.
Right.
Sorry to the Capcom fans. Sorry, we lost a good portion of our audience.
That's what I mean, is that I've never seen another company that is so forward with their like ambassadors and makes them do certain things.
It is
an
like interesting idea.
They're very strict about it.
I wonder why they decided that was even a good idea. Because it's tying their brand to creators.
But that's why they're so picky about who they pick, and
that's why they
rejected
dropped
me twice.
Right, and why they got rid of me. Do you want to tell that story?
I guess I should, because that's they've probably heard your story before. But real quick, I applied back in like 2018 or something when my channel was like doing pretty good, because I had friends who were also taking off, and they applied, and I was like, sure, I'll do it, and I got rejected. I got a nice little rejection email. I was like, that's weird. Why the hell would they do that? That doesn't make any sense. And then I looked at. I was scrolling. They said that they looked at my social media and stuff.
Oh, that's what did it.
So I looked through my Instagram, and one of my most recent pictures was me dressed up as Mario, giving the middle finger, and I think it says "Hey, fuck you," like under it or something.
You
like
couldn't
that.
have any worse a photo.
So that might have been what did me in. I applied, I think, a whole year later, and they rejected me again. But in hindsight, I honestly don't think that's what did it. I think what did it, and I thought about this after you got rejected or after you got kicked off, I think it's because I talk about emulators. And now I do very frequently.
Yeah, they don't like that.
They really
Nintendo
don't.
Does not like that.
Because when I brought up the whole middle finger Mario thing, but our other friends like AJ, Fanatics4, oh, I'm sorry, redirect. He's got a new channel now.
Okay, let's not plug other podcasts within the first 10 minutes of our podcast.
Go listen to it directly to you. It's on iTunes.
Okay, great.
So he said it probably isn't the middle finger or the fact that I say ass a lot in my videos. It's probably because I did emulator stuff. He said other channels can get away with cursing every once in a while. But also, like, I feel like my vibe is just not the Nintendo vibe. I feel like I kind of lean into the asshole niche a little too much.
To cycle back around, I think this is a good point, because people might be wondering already, if they watch both of us, how this is going to work. Because everything I've ever done is family friendly. Mm-hmm. I'm a family friendly content creator. And as you just said,
you just said, fuck.
That's how it's going to work. This side of the room, just
Don't
nice,
play this around
family
your
friendly,
grandparents, buddies.
Nintendo. That side of the room, I can't speak for it. To be honest, I don't know what's gonna come out of that mouth.
So that's another thing. I don't curse in my. I mean, I curse in my videos, but I bleep them. So when people watch my live streams or stuff, they go, "I can't believe he curses so much." And it's like you
curse.
hear me in the videos.
I raid you on Twitch all the time, and
it's really hard to keep it in.
As soon as you get raided, it's just I can't even say it because I am not like you.
I can turn it off during podcasts. I try to tone it down on this, but I had to say what I said.
At all, turn it down.
I had to say what I said as Mario. It's part of the story. So why did you get kicked out?
Oh god, that's a point of contention. And the theories.
You
give me your theory.
I'm definitive in my theory. I think I have the perfect theory. So you got kicked out right after you did the Breath of the Wild hacks.
Go on.
But like a week before that,
go on.
We did.
Yeah, we did.
We did a video on your channel of a multiplayer ROM hack of Ocarina of Time.
Yeah. That flew under the radar for a lot of people. Didn't realize.
Yeah.
We did a hack of that, and then a week later, I did a emulator video, and I think maybe Nintendo saw the hack and they were like, that's his last chance.
Yeah, that was like
that's
a their finger on the button.
Straw. And
They're
then
like,
as soon as I hit the Breath of the Wild, it was just he's gone. Yeah. He's out of here.
That's what I think did you in.
I mean I talked about it a bunch, but I obviously worked with them for like 3 years as an ambassador, and then they dropped me. I do think that was a part of it. I think a lot of things was part of it, you know. I talk about mental health a lot. I have videos with me like crying about that.
That can't possibly be a problem.
They're not that specifically, but it's the overarching thing of I'm very much wood. I'm very much a giant personality that talks about whatever is in my heart at the time. And I think all of it is part of like when they're saying this guy is an ambassador for us, but this guy also just talks about everything and anything. I think that becomes risky. Like maybe like, oh, that's fine, but what else could he do?
Right.
And I think that all played a part in that. But as I've said a bunch of times, I think it ended up being the best thing because now I'm just carefree and I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
Like do a podcast with you and not worry about Nintendo launching it and being like, wait, we rejected that guy twice.
Yes, absolutely. I've had other moments with Nintendo. Like I went to PAX East. They have a big presence at PAX East. And I always have appointments with game companies to like check out their games and stuff. But Nintendo is the one that I need to do the most for my channel because it's the one most people are interested in. And the last few PAX Easts pre-pandemic, they were showing off new games and stuff. And they had like, it was like a mini E3 for them. And I could not for the life of me get into their freaking booth. They had like, you know, like a little desk and you can like sign up with them. Oh, I'm media. Could I like
I have such a good story to this to follow up.
They're like, no, you can't. We got no appointments for you. So what I ended up doing was, again, I don't want to throw him under the bus.
I'll do it because I'm about to.
Well, AJ, no, he really helped me out.
Not him.
I just stood behind him with my camera like I'm filming him. And then I just started playing the games and filming myself.
That's smart.
I mean, I filmed him too, but I also filmed myself. So I snuck in and I started playing you're supposed to play one game. I'm like playing all of them. And then I got to freaking Travis Strikes Again or whatever the hell
that game sucked.
That game was very bad, and I've never played No More Heroes games before. And then after I was finished playing, they're like, "Great, you get to interview Suda51," and I was like, "Who's that?"
What? I love Suda51.
And then I saw him, and I was like, "Oh, I know who he is." I don't have any questions. I just want to say I'm a fan, and then I took a picture with him, and then I was.
Wait, so you didn't interview him? There's no video of that?
I had nothing to say. What was I gonna say? Why is your game garbage?
I gotta say, yeah. I mean, I wasn't there with him in person, but they sent me that game to a review, and I was like, I'm a huge Suda51 fan. I told the guy that sent me the game key, I was like, thank you, I'm a huge fan. I can't wait. And he was even like, yeah, we only sent these out to a few people. Suda's really looking forward to the feedback. And like, I'm a huge Suda51 fan. I played all his games, and I started playing the game right away, and I went, this is just so bad. I don't know if I even reviewed it in the end, and I got follow-up email like, hey, what did you think of the game? And I was like, I haven't got around to playing it yet. I'll get to it soon. Tell Suda what's happening.
I had to talk to him through a translator, and the translator was like offended I didn't want to do an interview. He's like, what? I don't understand. I was like, I just want a picture with him.
Well, now you wouldn't have to use a translator because you speak fluent Japanese.
No.
Anything else?
Wakarimasen.
There you go. Sumimasen?
Yeah. Hi.
Daijoubu.
Daijoubu. Genki desu ka?
Yeah.
Genki desu.
What's another one we learned, Kim? We had 5.
Hajimemashite. Watashi wa Udo desu.
Oh, arigato.
Arigatou gozaimasu.
That's fine. Okay, moving on. So, speaking about, let me tell that story. Because you mentioned the going to PAX thing and whatever. So, the worst thing that happened when I was working with Nintendo, and I said they didn't do anything for me, and they really didn't.
They really don't for a lot of
They
investors.
don't. They don't.
And they don't even
anything.
give games early anymore because people leak them and stuff.
And that's really all they do, by the way. When you're an ambassador representing the band and brand, and you're a part of them, all they do is send you the occasional game key. I mean, that's what they did to me. It's not a huge. And with like Minecraft Dungeons, they sent it like 3 days after the game came out, and they were like, "Sorry, it's
That's
late."
the worst because it's like I already bought it. I needed to get it. I need to make
You know what's
a
even
video
worse
on
than
it.
that? Is because when you've accepted that they're sending you the key, from then on, no matter what you post anywhere online, tweets, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube videos, you have to have hashtag free game. You
I hate
have
that.
to legally put hashtag free
hate
game.
that a lot.
So when they said they were sending me Minecraft Dungeons on Switch, I was like, okay, I'm going to stream it, make videos, but they didn't send it right away, so I went and bought the game. And then I was streaming it on Twitch, and the next day they were like, "We're gonna get you that code tomorrow. We saw that you streamed it yesterday, and you shared that you have to put hashtag free game." And I'm like, "But
take it back then.
I paid for it.
That would make me so mad.
But I'd already signed the thing to say that I would do it, so I had to free game something that I bought.
Yeah, no, that's not how that should work.
That's how it works for
That
the
I
ambassador
would say
program.
take that back. Yeah, I paid for it. It's not a free game. I'm lying now to my audience.
But the other thing is, okay, so E3, what E3 would they have been showing Breath of the Wild? 2016, I want to say.
Yeah, it has to be
nodding
16,
furiously. Yeah. So they reached out to me, 2016, Nintendo and Golan, and they were like, "Do you want to go to E3?" And I was like, "Yes, that is sick." And like back then too, you have to remember I had like a couple thousand subs. I just started working with them. This was like the coolest thing. I was like, "Yes, please." So I road tripped like 25 hours to get there with like $200 in my pocket. I get to the E3 event and I'm lining up to get my badge, and I'm like going over to like where, it's been a long time ago, but wherever they would hand out like the press badges, and I like give them my name, and they're like, "You're not on the list." And I'm like, "Sorry." And they're like, "No, like nothing, not on the list, not under Nintendo, not under anything." So I'm emailing my contact at Golan because I have no phone numbers or anything. So I'm emailing my contact out the front after a couple hours, because the contact is in the building, by the way.
Right.
I finally get a reply, and they're like, "Oh, say that this person said it's okay," or blah, blah, blah. I said, I showed them the email, and they were like, "Okay, take this badge." The badge they gave me was general admission.
Right.
Because that was like the first year or the second year they were letting anyone in, and not just like, you didn't just media or whatever. E3 is really for media. It's for people to go, people are demoing their games, but they don't want Joe Schmo to be playing
That
it.
first year where they let it open to the public was the worst year for the public because it was not set up that way.
And that's where I went.
Yeah, that's why
because
it was
nobody,
worse for you.
when you go in with a general admission badge to something like that, no one wants to talk to you. I mean, I'm walking around with my camera and I'm like, "Can I play the game?" And they like literally people were just saying, "No, you can't play our game."
And you were there to represent Nintendo.
Yes.
And you couldn't do that because you had a general admission.
I couldn't play I couldn't talk. No one wanted to look at me. Like, I was having a terrible time. Like, I'm there on the floor and I can't interact with anything. But the worst part is, the only game they brought was Zelda. The only game Nintendo bought was Zelda. They had this giant like structure for it. They built this massive dome
I remember, yeah.
that had all these figures. And you could play the game. That was like lined up and blah, blah, blah. The only way you could get in was with a media badge or higher. So I didn't have
So they
the
sent
badge.
you there, and they wouldn't let you play their game.
The only thing they brought to the E3, I wasn't allowed to interact with whatsoever. And the only reason why I actually did manage to get in was because I went with Metal Jesus Rocks. And he happened to know the guy that was in charge of the line to get in. And he snuck us in.
That's ridiculous.
I was so upset. And
was
by
he
the
general
way,
admission also?
no, he got
was a
in
big
through
channel
another
then.
company. He was
Yeah.
he's been a big channel for a long time. But And here's another thing that sucked too. And I think I've told that story briefly, maybe on a live stream or something. But I think something I never said was the contact I had at Golan was at the convention, right?
Yeah.
They just wouldn't talk to me. And I'm not making this up.
Right.
Like I was emailing, I couldn't get a reply, I don't want to, but Gerard, the completionist.
Yeah.
He worked as an ambassador, probably might still do.
I don't know.
But he was friends with them. Because he was a big channel at the time. He was working with them. So they were walking the floor the whole time. I had Gerard's number. And I was messaging him like, hey, can you get her to meet me out front? Can you get her to help me? Like, can you figure out this badge situation? And he was like very nicely being like, oh, yeah, I'll see. And like putting it off. And I have a feeling he was actually asking her. They wanted nothing to do with me. They couldn't care less. There was one point she walked right by me with him. And I was like, and they just didn't.
Why invite you?
I don't know.
That's absolutely ridiculous.
But that's what I mean. Like when I eventually got that message or whatever, the email they sent me saying I was dropped, it's like, okay, like I've had this like that happened and you never send me games and now you're like, I just don't want it. It's just bye.
I had a similar E3 story with Bandai Namco Bandai.
Mm-hmm.
I'm dyslexic. I get it flip-flopped all the
Doesn't
time.
matter.
Like
Capcom.
It was the first year I couldn't get a media badge for E3 for whatever reason, but they were like, "Hey, we'll give you a badge," and it was general admission. Yeah, I think so. And we couldn't even get into the convention with cameras or anything. And it's like I'm here with the company.
Wouldn't a general admission badge generally admit you to the convention?
So I wasn't able to get in because I had a camera with an interchangeable lens. My camera was this big and the lens was like this big. My brother brought a whole ass camcorder with a Rode like mic, shotgun mic, and they're like, "Come on in."
Oh wow!
Because it was an interchangeable lens, so he was totally fine.
Why does that matter?
I don't know. That I hate E3. And then the second day we went, they were like, "No bags," and I was like, "I checked. Mine's within the constraints. They're like, no bags anymore." I was like, "What do you mean anymore?" They're like, since you got out of the Uber, no bags anymore.
In case there's like extra lenses in the bag or
so
anything.
I just went to different security lines until one of them just didn't care, and I just got in with my bag. So they made it such a pain in the ass to film E3. And I told Bandai, I was like, you gave me this general admission badge. So I'm here to cover your stuff, and I can't even do that. And they're like, okay, whatever.
E3 sucks.
E3's horrible, and I'm so glad it's ruined and never coming back.
That I get that question all the time. Like, how do you feel about E3? Like, are you upset about E3?
So happy
like,
it's
no,
gone.
I'm glad.
They were the worst.
Glad. I went.
It got worse and worse and worse.
I watched E3 my whole life. Like, I think I started watching very early on, and the dream was always to go.
Yeah.
And
then you go and you're like, this is it?
Obviously, Nintendo put an extra spin of salt on that to make the whole experience a lot worse for me. But even when I was on the floor and looking around, I was like, okay, this is fine. And when you go to E3 too, you don't get to sit and watch all the reveals and like I don't know if people realize that, but the thing you watch at home
happens before the convention.
Yeah, that big live stream where everyone sat there like reacting to Xbox and Bethesda with mobile phone games. You don't get to do that when you're there, and you miss it when you're there.
Yeah.
So you're better off just staying at home.
Yeah.
And it's
that happened
gone
a
now.
lot. There were a lot of times where I was sitting on the floor, like editing something, like in the corner, and I'm like, "Why did I come here? I could have done this all from home, gotten probably more views than what I'm doing here, busting my ass."
To be fair, we just hate going outside, though. I feel like we went into this podcast. We went in
with a lot of energy.
With a lot of energy, but like we went in with all the Nintendo information, and we barely talked. We didn't even talk about the button.
Okay. What would you like to say about the button? Why do we have a button on top of the TV?
I feel like we're jumping all over, but as we said, with this half being the nice half, I know at some point you're gonna say something that's too far.
Don't give me a reason. I feel like you're gonna make it so that people are gonna expect something to come from this end.
I feel like at some point you are gonna end up saying something, as you often do, that's going to make me cringe.
So we have the same manager.
Yeah.
Why won't you take Roman as a sponsor? What's wrong with that? Come on.
So whenever Bob says anything that might make me feel somewhat uncomfortable or crosses the line, I'm going to hit this red button.
52% of men have the problem.
I'm not one. I'm in the 48.
You someday, statistically, it'll happen to you.
Are you in that statistic?
No, I'm good, baby.
Is that what you say? Is that what you say in the sponsor?
Yeah, I
sponsor
say
spots?
I'm one of the problem guys. No,
by the way,
actually,
I don't have this problem, but if you do,
the thing is, you can't get a sample of it until you talk to like you have to like talk to the doctor like through.
have you taken it?
No, I can't because I have to like talk to a doctor and,
So what
and
do you-
lie to the doctor and say that I have a problem.
So what do you say in the sponsor spots that you do?
52% of men have a problem. A sex problem.
Does a good portion of your audience think that you have a sex problem?
My audience, every time they see one of my videos where I have a wacky ad like that, they're like, what the hell? I thought I was coming in here to see what the newest, coolest emulator was, and now I'm being talked to about boner.
How do you rationalize that? What made you accept that
Because
sponsor?
my audience, I think less than 2% is under 18.
Okay.
So I was like, I mean, this is a problem people have,
Okay.
you know? If I can help, a small portion of my audience, why not?
Couldn't be me.
Not something to be embarrassed about.
I'm not embarrassed. Because I'm in the 48%.
We don't gotta be embarrassed to talk about it. Some people got problems.
What is the problem?
It's a penis problem. You can't get it doesn't
Like
do,
at
it
all.
doesn't do the thing.
Like the 52% is at all.
Yeah. Well, it just doesn't. It's just like this, and it's not like that. This is good for podcast listeners. You know what I'm doing. Podcast
is it
listeners.
supposed to be?
Every once in a while, when
This
you want it
this
to be.
is no good.
When you want it to be, and if you can't do it, just take a pill and you're good.
How much is the pill?
I don't know even. They don't even make me say it in the read.
I don't believe that 52%.
All right, go do the statistic. I don't know. It's on the paper.
We'll talk
that
about
they
it later.
give
We'll
me.
talk about it later. Cut that. Cut all that.
Where do we go from here?
I don't know. We didn't really discuss what we would talk about after the quitting Nintendo thing.
So why did we decide to talk about quitting Nintendo? Let's talk about that.
I thought we weren't going to address that.
Why
at all.
not? We have to.
We don't
We
have
have
to.
to.
You literally said you didn't want to.
No, that's not why. That was about something else.
Now you're backtracking.
Okay, we don't have to then.
Let's talk about it.
Okay, so we decided to name this podcast Why We Quit Nintendo because we thought it was really funny to absolutely steal Kit and Krista's first episode name.
Yeah, your idea. To be fair,
I said it as a joke, and then you were like,
I
"That's a
loved
really
it
good idea."
immediately.
I was
Just
like,
like the
okay.
name was your idea.
So the original name was the official Nontendo Podcast.
We should definitely tell this story.
And we were advised not to do that.
Actual lawyers told us not to put the official Nontendo podcast, which
With a
I
TM
still,
at the end.
The joke is obviously that it is the official Nontendo podcast. This is that.
Yeah.
But we were told not to because for some reason calling it the official Nontendo podcast could be breaching copyright laws and lines, whereas just straight up calling it the Nontendo podcast is fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
This is skirting around it a little bit. We also had some logo iterations that were just straight up the Nintendo logo.
I liked those ones.
But yeah, this I felt like was a little more open. But I mean, it's still pretty obvious what's going on here. But again, like obviously, we're not affiliated with them in any way because we already talked for a whole podcast about why we're not. We were, or you were at some point.
Unless
I've come
Nintendo-
close. The
Nintendo-
Pokemon Company is pretty good to me.
I'm just saying, Nintendo, this O here, we could make this an I. Just saying, Nintendo.
You guys are missing a whole
if you-
podcast
if
now.
you
You guys
like-
need some extra dudes.
If you like what...
We can do it. We
Wow.
can do it, bro.
just
I can
got
stop
that.
saying ass.
If you like everything you've seen so far, Nintendo, message me. We'll figure it out. I'll come back.
Not Golan though. We don't want anything.
Not
to
go- I don't want anything to do with Golan.
I will not stop talking about emulators though. I have a thing with people like putting in their Twitter bio like Nintendo ambassador, or the worst is when they say their sub count in their Twitter bio. It's like, why?
I don't think I ever
People
did-
are following you because they already know.
Right,
the
that is
YouTube
true.
thing.
I don't think I ever put ambassador in my Twitter bio. I don't think I had enough room because I got to cram like Satisfy and G Fuel and
So that's another thing. I really hate when sponsors are like, you got to do this. Or usually it's like a chair. They're like, we'll send you the chair, but the Twitter bio, you got to put our thing. It's like, for a chair?
What's your Twitter bio right now?
It's just like, haha, gotcha, or something. I made a tweet the other day that was like, made my Twitter bio a little more professional. And I was like, haha, got you, idiot.
Mine,
'Cause
yeah,
April
mine's.
Fool's Day.
God, I'm such a sellout. Mine is like all sponsor stuff. Just
No, mine's just
crammed into
links.
the bio.
Mine's just links to all.
I
my
would put
YouTube,
sponsor
Twitch.
stuff in the name of my Twitter name if I could.
That's like if you had a website with a lot of traffic and you had an ad in it. That's an ad space.
Uh-huh.
You don't sell that for a chair.
That's
You
true.
sell that for money.
Money.
So if G Fuel's like, put our name in your Twitter bio, like, okay, how much?
True. They
You
do
know?
pay me for it.
Yeah.
But I don't think I ever put ambassador.
Well, you
in
look
the
at
Twitter bio.
you look at other content creators, you look at their Twitter bio, you can tell like, okay, that dude is just selling out his Twitter
Well,
bio.
I also want to say that with the ambassador thing, I feel like often Nintendo has small channels be ambassador. That's
Yes.
not that I want to use the word small, but it does seem like
they're very picky and they pick people who represent their brand well, regardless of how many subs they have.
100%.
Yeah, and I feel like they'd rather cast a wide net than have a couple of channels that are really big.
And a lot of them are growing channels,
Yes,
which is a better word than small.
that is a better word than small. I feel like you had a lot of eyes on you, so
Yes.
like the smaller channels are the growing channels that are Nintendo ambassadors. I feel like they don't pay much attention to them. They're just like you seem like you have a cool vibe. Here's a free game. Make sure you say free game. And
Definitely
then
say free game. Say free
like-
game and everything.
They're like, here's your game. Say free game. We're gonna watch you and make sure you don't talk about emulators or say ass too much.
Oh yeah, and they gave me a cease and desist once. You just hit your mic
I
on.
almost threw up. That's trauma for me saying cease and desist.
Hold on, let me finish my thought though. The growing channels, I understand when they put ambassador in the Twitter bio because it's pride. You know, it's like I've done something. I'm making it. You know, I've been noticed.
It feels like they're saying, "Look, I have merit. Nintendo says so." Yeah, that's what it feels like.
But
and that's why I don't like that.
Cool. It's cool though. It is cool. It was a cool feeling getting to work with them. So like I get it. I do get it.
Also, we could talk about remember that controversy a few weeks ago with Artesian Builds, the PC company that went under?
We can. Let's stay on topic though.
I just want to say that a lot of Twitch streamers had that company in their bios.
Oh yeah. Oh,
and
that
we
is related. I saw no
we
correlation.
know that they made no money from having that there. It was just like all these Twitch streamers think it's like a clout thing to be sponsored by a PC company.
I had never heard of Artesian Builds before.
They hit me up and offered me like $100 off an $8,000 computer. I was like, what?
Did you take it?
I was like, are you guys crazy? Why would I give you $7,900 for to sponsor you? Get out of here.
That doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense. It's ridiculous.
I would want at least $200. I was gonna say, I don't know if I should say who it was. I had somebody who I love dearly reach out to me after my last video talking about, because I've made like 4, talking about the Nintendo Ambassador Program. And so in my last video, I mentioned how, and I do want to address this. I mentioned how I was like, I wasn't a goody two shoes Nintendo YouTuber who would just do or say anything that Nintendo wants me to say. And I had an ambassador reach out to me who I'm friends with, and they were like, "Is that what you think about me? Is that how you feel about me?" And I felt so bad, like my heart.
But why would they
sunk.
think that?
Because I painted,
You were an ambassador.
Because but no, it's because in the video I painted, and I accidentally painted ambassadors to be goody two shoes who say and do anything Nintendo wants, and because I didn't do that, I got fired.
The problem is there are some that are like that.
Absolutely are.
But not all of them.
But
there are some that just feel like they're not doing anything towards the Nintendo brand. They're just guys who got lucky and Nintendo decided, yeah, you're good. You do whatever you want.
Sometimes I see channels and people who get sent like 17 Switches a week early before launch, and I'm like, how? God, I'm so happy for you.
I wouldn't consider like the completionist to be like a goody two shoes guy, but he seems like Nintendo like gives him a bunch of stuff. They're just very selective.
I've always been jealous of the completionist's relationship with Nintendo. Like he's got pictures like with Reggie and Miyamoto where they're just like chilling.
Yeah.
There's one picture of them.
But he was so early YouTube.
True.
We're big fans of him. I
love him.
I like his videos, and
He's
I've liked
amazing.
him for a really long time. So back in the day, doing like crushing like YouTube gaming content, of course Nintendo was in on that. But now I feel like they've removed themselves from creators like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, that's not how I felt or feel about all Nintendo ambassadors. And obviously some, yes. But
obviously some, yeah.
obviously some, yes. You suck. Do better. Make an emulator video.
Who do we hate?
Ooh, do you actually want to?
No.
Okay. But no, obviously a lot of them are really, really nice, awesome people that are doing their best.
We got no grudge against other.
No. Almost
Nintendo
no
YouTubers.
grudge with almost not everyone.
It's mostly just how Nintendo handles their ambassador program. It's just really bizarre and weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just butthurt that I don't have free stuff.
It wasn't that good.
What?
It wasn't that good getting the free stuff.
Oh, okay.
Other ambassadors got sent little care packages and stuff too sometimes. Like,
Yeah, some people would get like crazy stuff.
yeah. And I want to name names, but I'm not going to.
Misclick got like a big old...
Thank you.
She got like a big old something before. I saw her get something like, whoa, that's awesome.
That was exactly who I was thinking
What did she
of.
get like recently?
Everything.
That was awesome.
Everything always.
She got some cool Kirby stuff, but it was like
Splatoon
right
stuff.
before that she got something. I was like, oh my God.
I know. And Arlo.
What are some games?
Let's just start listing Nintendo YouTubers. Arlo gets stuff all the
Is
time
Arlo
too.
like that PC?
He's a puppet.
He's a puppet. So, I mean, there's a lot of plausible deniability
Right.
there. He's not a real person.
Well,
Look, we get free stuff from other companies, so I don't want to, like, be salty
oh
about
no,
that.
yeah, I definitely get.
I think
free
that these
stuff.
people who get the free stuff deserve it. I'm not trying to knock
most
that.
of them 100%.
Yeah. It's just cool stuff. And I'm like, damn. There was a short period of time where the Pokemon company gave me some free stuff. And I was like, oh my God, thank you so much. This is
They're
awesome.
sending me stuff now.
It's weird because I talk a lot about emulators and there's always Pokemon stuff on there, but they don't seem to care for some reason.
Well, like when I don't know, like when I did the Breath of the Wild video, I did like Pokemon mods in there and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But like when they started reaching out, because they're actually trying to build a relationship with me now.
They're great.
And when they
I
started,
feel like I've fallen off with them. They haven't talked to me
when
in a
they
while.
started reaching out, I was like, do they know? Do they know about everything that happened?
They don't seem to care.
Do I bring it up? What if Nintendo finds out? Will they be mad?
I don't know.
But I get free Pokemon cards now.
Yeah, I did for a short period of time. I just gave them to people because I don't.
That's probably why they stopped sending you Pokemon cards.
I did. I mean, I opened them like on stream and stuff, but that's probably not what they want. They want like a whole ass YouTube video for it.
They didn't want anything from me.
I did like social media content whenever they sent me something.
They sent me a whole box with like figures and toys and Pokeballs and all
The
kinds of
coolest
stuff.
thing I ever got was the custom shirts they make.
Now we're just bragging.
Yeah.
Now we're just sat here
That's
bragging
fine.
about all the free stuff.
This podcast, this episode was supposed to be about how we stopped working with Nintendo. We can talk about how we work with other companies that are related to Nintendo.
True.
What's wrong with that? We're on topic.
Who else do you work with?
That's it, really.
Yeah,
Pokemon
same.
Company. And like
no
other,
one really
I mean,
wants
like
to talk to me ever.
I almost started a relationship with PlayStation, but I don't know what happened there.
What happened there?
I actually don't even like the PlayStation 5. So I feel like
Probably
that
a
might
good
have
thing-
something to do with it.
probably a good thing that
that's
that
like
fell
that's like my least favorite console.
Yeah, you're
of this
always on
generation.
Xbox. Like
like
when
it a lot
Scoot
more.
and I are playing games and we're like, you should come play like Valorant.
playing
And
on
you're
my-
like, no, I'm too busy. And then we see
That's
you
why
come on
I hate
Xbox.
you. 'Cause,
You
like-
see you pop on Xbox
Like
playing.
you're like
Call of
like
Duty.
an abuser right now. Like I'm friggin' working on stuff and then like I sign on to Xbox to play with my girlfriend for like 30 minutes and you're like, oh my God, you said you couldn't play with me.
It's Valorant Wednesdays. And you say you're busy. Busy playing Xbox.
I got you to start playing Valorant.
That's true.
I
You
wish
got
I
me
could go back in
addicted on
time and
Valorant.
slap myself in the face and be like,
I have spent. Kim, don't listen. I have
You're
spent
loved.
too much money on Valorant in a very short amount of time.
I
For a-
spent $100 that one day and you were making fun of me.
Yeah, the first time we played, you wanted to buy one skin, one $10 skin, and you were like, I got to get some credits, and you're like, yeah, the 100, I'll use it.
I'll use it, yeah.
I've spent maybe like, and I've been playing for like a week. I've spent maybe $40
Okay.
on skins.
I
for
mean, I
guns.
spent around that, but I have credits now for more
But-
stuff. Oh, the battle pass is gonna be over soon. We gotta grind a little bit.
We have been.
Well, now we're done with the podcast stuff. I got time now. Maybe on Sunday.
I got this one gun that when I get the final kill in a round, like a big black hole like takes over the whole
cool.
screen and like a galaxy comes up.
I want the comic book one really bad.
That one is good.
So if you've never played Valorant, the storefront is different for everybody, and it changes very frequently. So you just have to hope that the gun that you want is in the storefront.
I keep waiting for a knife to be in the storefront so I can get a cool knife.
I do want a knife because you do pull out the knife a lot, and the knives are really cool. You ever spend? Did you spend a lot of money in Pokemon Unite? That's another free-to-play game.
Moving on.
I was going to talk about how you work with a Pokemon company, even though you made a video crapping all over Pokemon
That
Unite.
was another thing. I was like, I hope they don't see that, because, and here's another story. Pokemon Unite did a thing with Screenwave, our network, and they were getting a bunch of creators to do the Pokemon Unite mobile thing, and they pitched me, like Screenwave pitched me to them, and they said no. They were like, no, we don't think he'd be a good fit. And the only reason I can imagine I wouldn't be a good fit is because the day the game came out, I made a video putting it on blast about it being pay to win.
A lot of people were arguing with you about that, and I don't understand how you could ever look at that game and see the argument you have and say that it's not pay to win. No, you're dumb. I had Jackson over here off camera. He's the one who said that it's not pay to win. And I was like, but then blah, blah, blah. And you're like, yeah. And I'm like, but then blah, blah, blah. And you're like, yeah. And I was like, and you're like, okay, yeah, okay, I see it. Oh, that's a good reason.
I was told the microphone wasn't close enough to my mouth.
You got to eat it.
But I can't move it any higher. Sit up? Okay.
The SM7B, baby. You got to eat this thing.
I didn't spend that much. Good?
Look at me. Look at me. This is how you got to do it.
Wait, yeah, but look.
It's fine. Leave it. All right. You're good. You'll be all right. We'll fix the next podcast.
I didn't spend that much money.
So what, baby?
I actually didn't spend that much money in Pokemon. Oh no, I did, because I maxed out for the video. Yeah, I actually spent hundreds.
Spent a lot.
But that wasn't
and
joy.
I feel like most people who are that into Pokemon Unite are spending a lot, because they keep releasing Pokemon that are like a lot of money.
That wasn't joyful buying though.
Now
I'm so focused on this microphone.
Just it'll sound good in post when the Screenwave people work their magic, because they're great.
But yes, that video was 100% accurate. I do not see how you cannot find that game to be pay to win. Although apparently they have patched it a lot to make it better.
Right.
But it's still pay to win.
Yeah, no, I agree. I played it.
I wonder if Pokemon has seen that video.
Absolutely. The people who wanted to sponsor the Pokemon Unite stuff absolutely looked at your channel,
that was
typed
probably
in Pokemon Unite and was like, oh, I don't know about that.
Pokemon Unite is also 10 cents.
I was going to say, that's probably 10 cent. That might
But
not
it's
even
10
be...
cent and Pokemon.
Well, honestly, Pokemon Company probably watched my video and went, yeah. True, though.
True, though. Let's give this guy free stuff.
100%. How about we shout out our Patreon?
Okay. What is it, then?
Which people... It's a Patreon where if you want a bonus episode every week...
Wow.
As well as behind the scenes I decided that I filmed while I was waiting for this podcast to start... You can go to patreon.com/Nontendo Podcast.
Hopefully, we can get that URL.
I don't even know if that's even how Patreon works. There'll be links down below.
I don't know either. You could see it. It'll be somewhere. But yeah, we're hoping to do a lot more content for our special little supporters. Because we have a lot of people, that hang out on our Twitch chats and stuff. People who like to support us a lot. And I feel like they'd appreciate this.
Do you think
we have a lot of crossover.
Do you think what we've done so far today is worth paying for?
Well, we haven't actually done the Patreon content yet.
That's true.
I'm not sure.
But there's a $3 tier where it's just general support. Is
That's
this worth $3 of
Listen,
support?
man, here's what I always tell even my supporters on Twitch. If you are deciding whether or not to support me or buying yourself a coffee the next day, for the love of God, get yourself a freaking coffee. Or you got to make sure you can eat. Spend money on you first. But if you're like freaking the Monopoly man and you're just throwing money around, $3, man, that's great.
It's nothing. Also,
this is free content for 99% of people.
Do you need coffee?
Yes.
Do you need to eat?
It's one of the joys of life.
That's true.
Yeah.
We had an hour yet?
I don't know. What, are you getting bored?
Little.
Okay. We could just leave.
No, I don't want to.
Okay. You want to play
It's not plugged in.
Zelda's Mask?
It's not plugged in at all.
Mario 48?
Do you want to get into a debate about what's better out of Zelda and Mario?
Mario 64, 1,000%.
It's Zelda, 100%.
So so I only recently played through Ocarina of Time. Like last year,
You can't do
played
it.
through it for
You
the first
can't.
time.
You can't judge it now.
I played it when I was a kid.
Well, clearly you didn't.
I played it when the game came out, and I said, this game sucks. I don't like rolling around this field. I don't know what to do. So then I played it again on the 3DS, and I was like, I thought I quit like pretty early playing the game. I looked at that thing Nintendo had, like when they decided the 3DS eShop was going to shut down. They showed you your statistics of what you played. I spent 20 hours on Ocarina of Time for the 3DS, so I had a pretty decent amount of time in there. So I played through the game recently, and no, that game's not good. But I'll say, if I could understand being there in 1998, I think it was when the game came out, and like sitting there, legs crossed, playing the game, just running around, exploring the world. You hit a rock, and then a whole dungeon appears. Like, that stuff is probably really cool to experience. But these days, you get that in like every game.
Right.
Yeah.
But you can't judge it based on these days.
Absolutely can, because Mario 64, it feels good just moving in the game.
It doesn't.
Just moving around, you're like,
I don't
this is
think
sick.
so. I don't believe so.
I would say so.
I am the opposite, where I didn't play Mario 64 till a few years ago, and it's tough. It's tough.
So I used to defend Mario Sunshine a lot. I'm like,
used to?
Yes. I was like, look, man, Mario Sunshine gets a bad rap. It's one of the worst 3D Mario games, but all the 3D Mario games are awesome. So just because it's one of the worst doesn't mean it's bad. It's still great. Then I played through that when they put it on the Switch, and I was like, never mind. This game is rough as hell. But I still think Mario 64 is better than that.
Ocarina of Time, I feel like, even at its time, next to Mario 64, if you'd played both on launch back in the day, no-brainer, Ocarina of Time is the better game. Bigger, more expansive, dungeons, storytelling, cinematics, atmosphere, lighting, Zelda,
so that's the
music.
Thing. The thing that would hook you on Ocarina of Time is the atmosphere.
100%. Thank you.
The things that you discover.
I'm so glad you agree with me.
How because most of what you do in that game is just walking around and exploring. But that just did not hook me, and it never hooked me. It felt like a trog.
Have you played Elden Ring yet?
No, I don't think I would like it.
You would like it.
Actually, kind of. The more I think about it, the more I might think I like it.
It's
But
so
I think you're completely out of your mind if you think that certain enemies or bosses can't one-hit kill you.
How can I be out of my mind?
I see clips of it all the time.
I've finished the game and you haven't played it.
Everybody that I talk to says that happens, except for you and Jackson.
Bob is refusing to play Elden Ring because he thinks an enemy at some point might one-hit him.
I think that there's a lot of unfair stuff in the combat.
Yeah,
and I also hate having to hit the A button. Game. You hit the A button, and then you're like, yeah, and then they do the attack.
If you're using like a great big heavy sword and you're not leveled enough to use it, sure.
Right. I know you can do certain builds.
There's like Wolverine.
Look, I played some other Souls games, and I'm just
like
not a fan.
Magic, the Gathering,
and it's not because the game's hard. I just want it to be fair. Like when I play through like a really hard like Mega Man boss or something, like I talked to Dan about. He says that the Elden Ring bosses feel like that because like
it's patterns.
You have to there's patterns that the bosses do, and you have to kind of die once or twice to figure out what the pattern is. But in like these 2D games like Mega Man or any other games with like really cool, really hard boss fights, it doesn't feel like there's an unfair thing that you can't dodge or get away from, and that's just not something that I see in like an Elden Ring. I see a lot of garbage happening in Elden Ring.
But you've never experienced it, so how would you actually?
I've experienced it in the other Souls games.
That's okay. No, that is fair.
Yeah, that's why I don't. That's why.
No, Elden Ring's really fun, and you should play it.
But then the more I see other people play it, I'm like, maybe I would like this.
You absolutely would.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I feel like it's too late now. I'm like out of the zeitgeist.
It's been like 3 weeks.
That's how I am with games, though. I feel like if I don't play the game immediately when it comes out, I'm just never gonna play
it. I will say that Horizon Forbidden West feels like it came out like 5 years ago at this point already.
That came out at the worst time.
It did. They must do
it
on purpose.
So did the first one. The first one came out when Breath of the Wild came out. Like
they have to do it like we're gonna put our game out and we're gonna put it right before another big game so that if it doesn't do well or people say that it sucks, we'll be like, well, it was just bad timing. Why else would you? I would at least delay it till after Elden Ring.
Yeah, like 2 days, like a week.
Right.
That's the best way to kill a game. Another one that got screwed like that was, do you remember Titanfall 2?
Yeah, I love that game.
That was an amazing game. It came out in between Battlefield and Call of Duty, I think.
It was so much better than those.
Yeah, I know.
The story mode was sick.
Yeah, it was incredible. It was one of the most revolutionary shooters.
I saw my first ever bodega cat today.
Oh my god!
I didn't tell you.
Why didn't you
Sorry if that was kind of a jarring transition.
What happened? How did you experience it?
Right near the Airbnb that we're staying in.
It feels like a weird, whimsical Twitter thing when you see pictures of bodega cats and stuff, but they legit are in almost every bodega.
I only learned about it when I was playing Spider-Man recently.
Okay.
Because there's a whole mission around a bodega cat. Mm-hmm. And I swear we saw that exact orange cat today. It was in a smoke shop. It wasn't smoking.
Oh, I didn't assume that it would be.
It seemed like you did.
No, why would you be in a smoke shop?
It's the person that owned the cat. The cat wasn't running the smoke shop.
No, why were you in a smoke shop?
Oh, I walked past a smoke shop.
Okay, all right.
To get to a sandwich shop.
I was walking my dog the other day, and he does this thing where he will dart at food on the ground. Mm. And if you don't realize how much chicken wings, just bones, are just all over the floor, in the city, until you have a dog and you're walking.
Specifically chicken wing bones?
Yeah, chicken wings are really bad if they're cooked, they're bad for dogs because they can get stuck in their throat.
I have a terrible story about that I won't tell.
Okay. Well, I'm walking him. It's my roommate's dog. It's not my dog, but it's the same thing. I'm walking him, and he does that dart thing, and I yank him because I don't want him to eat whatever's on the ground. And it was because we were walking by a bodega, door was wide open, and the cat was at the... It's a busy New York City street, and the cat is just at the edge of the little bodega threshold, and the dog darts at him. I yank him, and the dog gets an inch away from the cat's face, and the cat's like, oh my God! That cat almost died that day.
I don't, as a cat owner, I don't understand cats that don't bolt for the door as soon as you open it.
Is that all your cats?
Well, actually, Logan doesn't do that. When you open... Okay, so in our house, when you open the front door... Logan will run hiding under the bed just in case anybody walks through the door. Mm-hmm. And Simon will do his best to trip you up and push past you and bolt out of the house because he hates us and just wants to be as far away from us as possible. Right. So whenever I see the bodega cats, or there was a cat on the street as I was walking by the other day, there was a garage of a house open and a cat was just sat on the car looking out of the garage. My cat would be gone. Yeah. So when I see these bodega cats, I'm like, how are you not losing them? Although I did pass a bodega that said lost cat.
No. Oh no. They really just don't care. That bodega, the door's always open. I was walking past it the other day. The cat walked into the street and walked back. It's how are you doing this? It's a busy city street.
It's do you love your cat? Because if you love your cat, keep it inside. I feel
a lot of these bodega cats, the cat just shows up. I don't think they get the cat for the bodega. I think the cat just appears
decides
and this is where it lives.
This is my smoke shop now. I really love the vibe of New York though, and things like that. It's surreal seeing it in person. Kim and I got sandwiches at the place across from the smoke shop, and we were standing in there, and as we were standing waiting for our sandwiches, this guy would come in, and the guy running would be like, Sammy. So, hey. And then that guy would go in, and the next guy would come in, Greg. I'm like, hey, Greg. And the whole time the guy's looking at us and trying to figure, I could tell he's trying to figure us out. I was feeling very judged. And then when we paid for our food, he was like, you guys not from around here, right? I was like, no.
But that's weird because I understand that there's regulars, but you're in a really busy city.
But that's what's crazy. We went back there this morning to get water. And while we were buying the water, he goes, you like those wraps?
Whoa.
And I was like, yeah, they were good.
That guy's good at his
job. He even went, yeah, the one with bacon is nice. He remembered what we ordered and everything.
That's awesome.
I know, I like it a lot.
I don't like that. If somebody says, if they recognize me from being in the store, I will go to another store.
You told me that once.
I don't want to talk to anybody.
You said if you walk in and they're like, do you want the usual?
I'm out. I'm never going back again.
That's so helpful because then you won't have to talk to anyone.
No, that's the problem because what if you don't want the usual? This used to happen to me at the Dunkin' Donuts on Long Island. I would go in there and they would always give me a caramel latte frilly thing, and it got too sweet, and I aged out of it. Mm-hmm. And if there was a line, he would make it for me before I got to the counter.
Yeah,
which is he's trying to be really nice, and I appreciated it, but I couldn't. I didn't want that.
It was funny when I worked at Burger King or Hungry Jack's for me when I was 14. There was this dude that would come in all the time, and he would always order like a double bacon Whopper with like extra onion. Like it was very specific. There was like 10 things. He came in every single day at the same time. So it got to the point where I was there all the time. Like us guys were there all the time. We would make his order as he walked in, or even like at the time. And I'm now realizing maybe he didn't want that anymore.
Yeah.
And every time he came in, he was looking bigger and bigger and bigger. And he was probably thinking, I wish I could quit these. Just a cheeseburger would be fantastic.
What if you were wrong and he was just eating it because he felt bad that you were making
What
that?
if it was like a game like that whisper game where like one person tells someone this is the order,
Yeah.
and it got to the point where it became from no onions to extra onions.
Yeah, the game of
and he
telephone.
sat
They
there
just
eating
kept
his
adding
onion
stuff
burger
to it.
like, I hate onions.
Yeah, that's probably what happened. Look, it's like really nice when they do that stuff, but like no, like
I've always wanted to walk into a place and get the usual and have just be like, you want the usual?
I kind of like when they just like give you like an extra like, hey, like they know, like you don't have to have that much correspondence, you know, like, hey, it's like, oh, I recognize
what if you walked in there all like, hey, Bobby, how's the
No,
YouTube?
I'm out. I don't want that.
Double espresso, no cream, all
Please,
right?
for the love of God. Or like, I gave you extra cinnamon today. It's like, I didn't want it though.
All of the customers, this guy does YouTube, Wolf10, Twitch.tv.
Our friend Pacini, who works with us a lot, he will, if I'm in public with him, sometimes we'll walk into a store and he'll go, Wolf Den! And I'm like, shut up! And one time, someone was like, oh, I know, I got it. I'm like, this is why I don't want you to do that. Anyway, we've talked for a while.
That was good. Yeah.
That was good.
You happy with that?
I'm very happy with how we did it.
Are you actually?
Yeah, this came out pretty good.
Okay, I'm glad.
Are you not? What happened?
No, there was a
Let's talk
couple. There was
about
a
it.
couple points there where I looked at you like, "Help me," but I don't think you even noticed, and you
No,
just
I
kept
didn't. I'm
talking.
just going,
Okay,
dude.
good. No, I'm glad. It's a weird sense of relief, excitement. I was really nervous to do this. I was excited.
Why?
I don't know.
I'm not nervous. I've been stressed as all hell trying to get this off the ground.
I've wanted to do this with you for so long, and getting you to agree to it, and then you just the whole plan and
Oh God.
what you said was you wanted to have little to no work to do. If we did this,
understand.
you were to do nothing but rock up and film, and then you decided to just go crazy with everything.
Not look. A lot of it I didn't think would take as much work as it did. And there's also certain things that I feel like I need to look. It's a collaborative effort.
For
Like,
sure.
we need to put a little. You know, we each need to put a
Yeah.
little something. I didn't want you to just do friggin' everything.
Well, I feel like I've done nothing.
Well, now now is when you start
It
doing
is
stuff.
I got to start doing thumbnails. But anyway, you put in so much work, and I wanted it to be good and worth your time. And I hope you liked
I
this
appreciate
first
it.
episode.
It doesn't
You only
need-
get one first.
That's true.
This will be
It needs to be worth their time,
true.
and hopefully, all of the stuff we will be doing for this will be worth their time.
If you liked it, then wherever you're watching or listening, like and subscribe.
And you can leave a comment on the app that you have. Leave
5
a
star
review.
us,
Leave a
review us. Check out the Patreon, and
Yes. You don't have to look. Just take a look at it. You don't even have to do anything while you're there. Just look at it.
I didn't hit the button.
You didn't hit the
You
button,
did good
so
this
it's
first
positive.
time.
I did. I only said ass like 3 times.
Maybe
4
next,
now.
Maybe next time.
Thanks for being here, guys.
We
We'll
did-
see you
we-
in a week.
We didn't get away. We how do we end it?
We just say we'll see you in a week. Thanks for being here. It's weekly, right?
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna come here every 2 weeks. Bye.
Cut!
All right. We probably should have said this in the episode. So we're filming this the next day. We just woke up. We have coffee. We have a Patreon, and we're doing bonus episodes there.
Oh.
So if you want to support the show, which is really going to help. We didn't talk about all of this, but there's a lot of travel and expense involved in making this little production.
Oh, yeah, baby.
And if you wanted to help support it, there's many ways of doing that over on Patreon. And the biggest reward you'll get is bonus episodes. We've already filmed an hour's worth.
And we've seemed to favor the bonus episodes more than
Bonus
the actual
episodes,
so
I
far.
don't want to say this like it's, whatever to get you over there, but they're actually better. They're actually
It's
so
a lot
much
more
fun.
chaotic and weird.
So if you want to check those out, there's links down below or wherever to the Patreon. Please, we'd really appreciate it. And I hope you enjoyed the episode.
But thanks for just watching anyway. I
Yeah.
appreciate it. That's the most important thing you could do.
We had a lot of fun. I kind of want to reshoot the first one.
Don't diminish the product we just made.
No, because we got into a groove in the second one. You guys haven't seen the second one yet. The second one was like,
We're going to get into a groove after the fifth one.
Right.
Like it's going to get better.
Immediately after this one that you're watching now, I was like, we should have done this. We should have talked about what we love about Nintendo. We didn't even mention
I like dumping on it.
what the podcast is or why we're doing
because
it.
we don't know.
It's true, we don't know.
We know we mostly talk about Nintendo stuff, and we're just gonna, fluff around.
That's true. I guess
the
it
whole
was
thing.
a good representation of what people
We
will
literally
figure it
did
out
that,
as we
yeah.
do it. Okay,
A
cool.
little bit of light bickering, and that's the whole thing.
If you liked it, thank you.
Thanks, dude.
That's it. We just wanted to add that.
Appreciate you.